Good morning, good afternoon, good day, whichever. First graders, we are going to work on your math for Monday, April 27, okay? So we've been talking about height and length, standard, non-standard measurement. Today, we're going to talk about estimation. What is she eating?
I don't know.
OJ's eating something off the floor. Hey, she's just licking the carpet. Your cat. We have to be very careful that OJ doesn't eat something she's not supposed to, so she doesn't get sick like she did last summer. Okay. Today we're going to start talking about estimation before we measure. So when you estimate, you hypothesize, right? That should be a word you recognize from science. You take a guess. Is it okay if you end up being wrong? Yes, but you have to be thinking about your estimation. For example, if I want to measure this crayon, but I want to estimate first how many linking cubes long it is, I'm not going to say, I think it's 50,000 linking cubes long, because that's just not realistic. Now, a guess like, I estimate it's 5 linking cubes long, that's much more realistic. Now, if you were to measure it and it ends up only being 3 or 4 linking cubes, that's okay, because the practice of estimating and then measuring is what we're looking at, okay? So we're going to, let's see, measure a marker with paper clips. So my special assistant over here is going to bring me the little box over there that has the rest of my paper clips. I suppose I could use this one here too. And I have a marker. Now, even when you are practicing this at home, you might have a Crayola marker. You might have a skinny marker, and the length of a different type of marker might be different.
Where are they?
They should be in that. Oh, they're not? Okay, that's okay. We'll just work with what we have, okay? It's okay if it ends up being a different length than what I have measured it at, because my marker is a different kind of marker than what yours might be. You don't have to go and run and find a Sharpie, okay? You can use a Crayola marker or a Crazy Art marker or just whatever you guys have at home, okay? That's okay, all right? So I don't know if I'm gonna have enough paper clips on hand to measure this, because the other paper clips are little, and we remember from our rules of measurement, they must be the same. So I have a clever way that we can work around this, because mom or dad, grandma, grandpa, whichever grown-up you happen to be with when you're doing this, they may not have that many paper clips either, but I'll show you a clever way that you can still measure with whatever they have, okay? We're gonna think outside the box with this, okay? All right, so I have my marker, I have my paper clips, okay? So, and they're all the same size. This is good. So I'm gonna put the paper clip at the end. I'm gonna line them up. Well, that actually ended up being perfect, okay? All right. And there are 3 paper clips. Now, it's really, really important to remember that we must use the same size, because look at that. That gives us a different length measurement, okay? This is not the correct way to measure, okay? They must be the same size, okay? Now, let's say, for example, that your grown-up could only find 2 paper clips that were the same size, because to come and give you some that are a different size, you cannot use these. You have to pick a size, whether it be the little ones or the big ones and use those. So if you have more of the little ones, go ahead and use the little ones. If you have more of the big paper clips, go ahead and use the big paper clips. If your grown-up doesn't have any paper clips, maybe they have quarters, maybe they have nickels, okay? Whatever your grown-up has that's not a ruler type of measuring instrument or tool, you can use. Because remember, these are non-standard units of measurement, okay? I'm just using paper clips because I happen to have them here, okay? But if you have to measure in pennies, if you have to measure in M&Ms, that's okay. Just don't eat them before you're all done with your math, okay? If you need to go and get some wheat thins or goldfish crackers and use those, that's okay. You do not have to have paper clips, okay? That's just the material, the tool that I have right here next to me, okay? That's the beauty, the easiness of non-standard units of measure. It's whatever you have around you to measure, okay? All right, but let's say your grown-up only can find 2 large paper clips. I'm gonna line them up at the end. You're gonna go 1, 2, switcheroo, and 3, okay? And this one is invisible, okay? That's a little way that you can very carefully use less than what it actually measures for. And normally I would not show you that, but being that we're all learning from home and we don't have my buckets and steam bins and boxes of other materials that I could give everybody a handful and everybody uses the same thing, we have to be thinking outside the box, okay? All right. So let me show you another example. Okay, the directions in my lesson say to use Unifix cubes. I don't have Unifix cubes at home, so I'm going to use theirs. Okay, and I'm going to use all the same color. Actually, why don't I use the yellow ones, because yellow is probably going to pop against the table. And even with these bears, I'm having to be careful because there are 2 different types of bears in here. Okay, so I'm having to dig a little bit and make sure that I get the same type of bear. Okay, I think if I get one more, I'll be okay.
Oh, I see one.
All right, there we go. That should be enough. Okay, all right. Now, how many bears long do you think these scissors will be? Why don't you take a guess, Lynn? How many bears long do you think this will be? By the way, these are about the same length as goldfish crackers.
9.
You think there'll be 9? Okay, so Lynn here is estimating that the scissors will be 9 bears long. Okay, let me tilt you back down again. Okay, so here are my scissors, and I'm going to start lining up my bears. And remember, if your object is curved, you're not going to follow the curve. You're going to continue going straight from end to end, because that would give us a different measurement, and rulers can't bend. See how I'm still going straight even though the scissors have curved? Okay. How many bears long are our scissors?
5.
5. Now, was Lynn's guess wrong? Yes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, because it was still a realistic and logical guess. Okay, good job. Oh, scratching your arm. You're gonna leave me hanging? Awesome. All right, so let's, whoa, Herbert just ran through the room, little streak of orange. All right, so you're guessing, you're making a reasonable guess, and it needs to be a guess that could be possible. There is no way that these scissors are going to be 100 bears long.
No.
Maybe not even 10.
No.
Okay, so I don't think there's any object that's going to be more than 10 cubes or paper clips long. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're doing your guesses. Okay, all right. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to take a look at our practice page for today. Now, we had a little spill the other day, and my copy of this that I would normally write on and show in lessons was ruined. So I'm using Lynn's. So Lynn's going to give me the answers in this of what she would possibly give as an answer, and that's what I'm going to circle. Now, I might correct her or give some tips for the sake of a lesson, but this way I'm not doing her work because this one's her. Water spilled everywhere. Oh my goodness. So, all right. So in our practice page today, we're working with non-standard measurement. Non-standard measurement, remember, are objects that you can use to measure that are not rulers or tape measures or things like that. Okay, so you're going to, the directions on your paper say connect linking cubes to measure the items listed. That wouldn't be a problem if we were in school. Okay, so you could use crayons to measure. You could use hands to measure. You could use goldfish to measure, remember? So keep that in mind when you're doing this. But whichever non-standard way to measure you choose, you have to do it for all of them, okay? All right, because we have to be consistent. All right, so imagine some of these items in our classroom, okay? All right, so you're going to use whatever unit of measure to measure the items that are listed, okay? And then you're going to first predict, you're going to estimate whether the object will be longer than, shorter, or the same as those 10 cubes, okay? So 10 goldfish or 10 paper clips, okay? Or 10 counting bears, okay? And then you're gonna circle your guess and then actually measure, okay? So, and here's another great thing. Let's see your big crayon box. Some of your crayon boxes might be bigger than the little ones would be at school. This is the box of 96 crayons. Now, if you happen to have one that's bigger than our box of 24, let me show you something. This box of 96 is basically 3 of the box of 24. Actually, it's more like, yeah. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, maybe it's 32. I don't know, whichever box we use at school. One of these is the same as that size. So we're gonna use one of these. I just took it out of our big box.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do sometimes.
Here is our box of crayons. Lynn, is the length right here, the length of your crayon box longer than 10 cubes, shorter than 10 cubes, or the same length as 10 cubes?
Shorter than 10 cubes.
Okay, so Lynn is estimating that it will be shorter than 10 cubes. Okay, now since we don't have cubes, we're going to use our counting bears. Okay, so I'm going to grab a handful of these. Okay, hang on, I got a handful. Okay, and then Lynn is going to measure the length. Is that the direction you want them to go? Or should they be facing a different direction? Are you trying to turn it? So how many bears long is it?
Yeah.
How many bears long is it?
3.
3. So then what you will do on your paper after you actually measure, and by the way, was she correct? Was her crayon box shorter than 10 linking cubes? Yes. Okay. So now put away. So now there's one final thing to do in that row. Now that you've actually measured, she's going to write 3. Okay. And yes, the label says cubes. And yes, I realize you may not be using cubes, and that's okay. Just worry about writing the number. Okay. All right. Now on the next page. Okay, we're on the back side of that front page. Measure the objects by counting the number of cubes. Okay, so we have a fishing rod here, and we're going to measure it by counting the cubes. Thank you for putting all those away for me. I appreciate your help. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the end. 7. 7 cubes. Color the end. Then color in everything. Okay. Find the end of your object first. And that's how far you're going to count. We're not going to worry about the other ones. Okay. Ooh, I think this is an oboe. And we have a thermometer, a Band-Aid, and a butter knife. Okay. So those are all the objects there. And then we'll flip it over. All right. Now on this one, again, it's asking you to use paper clips. If you don't have paper clips and you have to use something else, that's okay. Don't worry about the label, just write the number.
You
Okay?
could use counting
Well,
bears.
not everybody has counting bears at home. If you have paper clips, fine. If you use pennies, fine. If you use M&Ms or Goldfish, that's fine. Or Cheerios. You'll probably end up needing a lot of Cheerios for these. Okay, that's fine. Okay, use whatever your grown-up can help you find around the house. Okay, all right, so first you're going to estimate the number of whatever you're going to use, even though the directions say paper clips, you think you will need to measure each item. Next, cut out the, oh, never mind, they give you paper clips right down there. Next, cut out the paperclip ruler and measure the exact number of paper clips. Record your answers. Okay, so Lynn, how many paper clips do you guess this brush will be?
Hold on.
Or you can't really see it right now. Cutting these off. And when you cut these, to make it easier, don't worry about trimming. Just hold it like that.
Six.
Okay, so she's guessing that it is 6 paper clips long, so that's going to go next to the word guess. Now, when you're using this like a ruler, are we going to hold it right here? No, you're going to find the end or the beginning, I guess, of your paper clips and line it up on that dot. And then this dot is your end. Okay, so if you hold it up here, you can't see the dots. Hold it just below the line. Okay, now count how many paper clips long your brush is, Lynn. Can you point and
3.
count?
1, 2, 3.
Good. Is it okay that her guess was wrong?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this one you don't have to worry about using real paper clips. You'll use what's at the bottom. Okay. I hope you will have fun measuring and guesstimating. Remember, it's okay to guess wrong. It's no big deal. No big deal. That's part of learning. So have fun. Just remember to be realistic with your guesses. All right? Have fun. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you later.